this morning.
It's I guess this change of season. Now it's not it's calendrically autumn.
It sounds like everyone's clearing out some
I
stuff.
wish people would have a little bit more etiquette in the way they clear themselves.
I always say, well, they're just practicing kung fu, so it just, it's okay. It makes it okay.
It's like, please, by all means, do clear your mucus, passages, etc. But discreetly and in your bathrooms and not out on your balconies and it's like we do live in a civilization. Why is it that these people who conquered these civilizations are sometimes the worst? Anyway, oh look, where were we? It's Thursday. We missed a day. It's not quite the daily egg sometimes, but I'm okay with that. Sometimes I think, look, I just don't feel like the daily egg.
Sure.
And it's not about consistency, thank you. It's just about, well, we're full-time freelance creatives. And we work 25/8 and also at about 24 jobs in between us.
Does get tiring.
And salaried clients still can't pay and say, I hope you understand. So, well, we've got no choice but to understand. We're full-time freelance creatives. You're salaried. And this is the other thing. People, when you make the choices to adopt the societal constructs, and also those people who have decided to have children, don't make it out like you've taken on some great responsibility for the planet, because you haven't. You've actually been quite irresponsible. And also, so the planet, it's not writ in the planet's, free will. But anyway, because this is going on from the last daily egg where I had been talking about children. So, yes, by all means have children if you know what to do with them. If you're guaranteed that you are complete within yourself and the partner with which you decide to have a child with, that person is also complete within themselves. And then you two complete people come together to create, and that's common unity, to create another human being who should be complete within themselves and then filled with everything their parents are going to imbue.
But it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
Ask yourself why. Just do that.
Too many women are having children because they weren't loved enough. Too many guys are having children because of ego, small dicks, virility, badges. I don't know. I mean, I do.
Yeah, you just said that like Yoda would have.
And women, yes, gosh, this incredible, as I have explained. I don't know why I'm speaking on higher registers. The biological clock. Oof. No, I don't want a kid, is how I had to keep telling. Because I'd be in the aisle of the supermarket and nappies aisle. I'd be like, it's crazy. And your body is just, that's what, women's minds weren't just made to have children, but women's bodies were. This was the responsibility. And women's minds were then given the ability and the free will to say, yeah, not for me. Especially now when there's so many people in the world and there's so many people of privilege having, how many children does Elon Musk have? 11. So there you go. He's taken up 10 spaces there. There you go. Don't worry, you don't have to have children.
I worked in Samoa, and the people I worked for had nine kids.
Ah.
9 kids. And she was quite honest with me. She said it shows wealth in the family. It shows that we're doing really well.
Yeah, well, I guess for multicultural families, it has always been that way, because multicultural families, people of different racial groupings, have children are the wealth, right?
Yeah.
So that's how they used to think. But so that shows that you have the wealth to have the children, because no one is cheap, at least alone children.
She said it was quite selfish, because she said it makes me look strong.
Wow.
You know?
Yep. So that's the other thing. Women like to do that because women get addicted to the kudos. And I've seen it happen amongst my friends who have children. And also the biological mother of my ex-stepchildren who had 5 children and didn't really like any of them. I had to do all the loving. Anyway, but I've also seen it in friends who just have child after child after child because it makes them look like courageous, heroic.
Yeah, right.
I see it. Hate me all you want for saying these things. But we've got to really unpack some truths. I've had to do it with myself. And far out, you know, I'm already not. Like, you're gonna hate me anyway. For whatever reason. I don't know. But there are people, plenty of people, who have children because, well, they're good people. They want to love. But I still think that people don't unpack that question enough. Like, why? Particularly as we go along. So now people still think it is the fundamental human right to have children. Actually, it is the fundamental human right to live a life to its full potential. And to not starve and to not struggle. Those are the fundamental human rights. Propagation is when it's needed. Do you really feel we need more people in the world? And people come on and say, well, it's the natural eco way. When required. I don't think we have a dearth, is that a lack of people in this world. I don't think there's a lack of people to love and feel compassion for. But, whilst in this world you can get benefits, these young people have children because they get some sort of benefit from the government. Whew. So we're full-time freelance creatives. We don't get any benefits nor help. No one is. We don't have a patron. We have to work to pay our bills, and we've got no choice but to actually do it with our skills. And more doing it with our skills is getting harder and harder because of AI and non-creatives being cheap about it and and non-creatives who are control freaks who then look to AI as a way to make more profit. And AI is supposed to be a tool for creatives. Well, no, it isn't. No, not really. It's a tool to make sure people can still profit. Because these damn creatives ask for too much money for their innate skills. So what was I saying? So yeah, we don't, this is no woe is me, churlish shit, although I should admit, and maybe I shouldn't because, hey, we're on show now, so I really should be just private. But yeah, I have privacy, but this is transparency. This is a space of transparency. So not half an hour ago, I was bawling my eyes out in the shower. That's subtlety, except my husband could hear me. Sorry.
Don't apologize for that. See your space.
I'm not going to bawl here. Don't worry. I'm bored with my own bawling. It's like I don't understand what's happening. I really don't. And I really don't want any more, advice from people. And there's this thing I say that I seem to have made myself unemployable amongst people who know how employable I am, how brilliant I am. Hell, if I can't say it by now in my 50s, I think I've got a 35-year-old working resume that proves it. But, it's because, oh no, she's going to tell the truth. Oh no, she's going to tell us what to do. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I may actually come and, do you a favor. The people still are working to old ways. The way of working is still about maximum profit with minimum expense. And that's what profit is. Instead of maximum equity for everybody. It's maximum property for self, minimum output for others. So this is where AI is helping. Oh, I don't know, Howie. got onto that from children, but I'm saying that we don't get benefits, you know. Do we want to? Oh, look, sometimes I think, God, it would be really helpful, you know, and it's...
It'll help us focus on what we need to complete, get done.
You know, we're making, and okay, I'm going to say, what we work on, what our, you know, 25/8 and our two-person production house is all about. Oh gosh, I just need to close this window. Is about creating platforms of opportunity for others. This is where I'm very frustrated with this. And an interesting thing is, for me, being in my 50s, I never thought I'd be in this position. I had always aimed to be in a position of truly helping others in my 50s, about taking a step back from the visual, but knowing that the visual always helped whatever platform I was representing, whether it be my own or others. And that's why I was a good publicist, because I would use myself with full, with a guarantee that no, everything I do is a good ambassador for whatever it is I'm representing. Yeah. So I have worked, you know, psychologically and physically, and, you know, I'm talking about the psychological work and also economical work to make sure that I am the kind of person that that can stand up and represent anything. And I don't have anything to hide. Transparency. And that is so valuable, but it's also very frightening for people, I guess. What am I mean, it sounds like I'm just having a bit of a whinge about... I'm not having a whinge, I'm telling the honest truth about, you know, women who should not be having... People, not just women, people who should not be having children, have children just so that they can benefit from it. We have people living in our complex who say that they are not able-bodied, but they seem to be able to run around a lot and stuff. Yeah. And they also have carers, their child gets carers benefits. And I gotta tell you, I don't understand how. And I was my mother's carer for a long time, so I know that, you know, but I didn't get, gosh, at that stage I was considered extremely materially privileged. So no way. But, you know, also because I couldn't work as much, but that doesn't matter because I co-owned restaurants at that time and was in a relationship where I thought I actually had financial independence. So women, let me tell you, don't trust without seeing, you know, if you already don't trust the person you're with, and believe me, there are way, way too many women who are with people they don't trust, because women need trust most of all. And women go and have children with people they don't trust, but they do it to secure something, because women understand one thing about men and their ego, males and their ego. They look at a child and go, I made that. Anyway. But yeah, so all these people, they don't, it's like, I don't know what these bogans opposite are doing. They just seem to just yell all day and night, and not even in very intelligent ways.
And they're working on something.
And they're working on something quite mysterious that they're hiding from us because they know.
Right across from the most curious woman.
Yes. Some could call it nosy. Mm-hmm.
Curious.
I want to know. I like to know everything that's happening in my environment. It's just because people are interesting in that way. What are you doing? And everyone in their own little cave dwellings, do you understand how we're all connected, and you know, their actions are all... Anyway.
It's spelled nose, right? Nosy.
Yes, when it should be K-N-O.
Interesting.
Because of course, it's always made out to be the nosy person on the street is always the worst person. It's always pushing they're putting themselves in everyone else's business. I don't care. I just want to know what is in my eye view. Also, but in our street, I know our street people just don't care. Once they go behind their doors, that's it.
Yeah.
And then they just, it's a very strange thing. They still forget that we're all still connected. You know, it's just, Oh, I was talking about children still, right? Speaking of children, oh no, I wouldn't insult children by calling him a child. Trump. Holy cow. Holy cow. He is winning and winning and winning. He may...
What's he winning now?
Oh, he's running for president again.
Can he do that?
Because it's 4-year coming up. It's an 8-year term, and yes, he can.
Oh, right.
Yes, he can. I don't know how. Yeah, but you know what? He's taken Obama's campaign slogan or whatever to heart, and yes, he can. He did. He is going to be the president again. This is the president America deserves. So there you go. You got him. I don't know how, but all those impeachments and all those things that he is the most, he is a rapist and sexual assaulter, chauvinist, misogynist, a bigot, just the worst, and he is going to win. He's going to, because that's what people want. And I'm going to tell you something about Trump that Dwayne and I had a bit of a laugh about. What did we have a laugh about? Because I think I cried after that immediately. Or just went, ugh.
That he could probably make the change?
Yes. This is the thing. And I had written something because I need to tell you this one thing about fame from someone who has been famous on a small scale. And, I guess you could say that I still am. It's not like I'm unknown. People know who I am. And if you don't, when you do see me, you either, and this is, I speak from experience because this is what I get told. So out of, say, 10 people who see me, 9 will be like, ugh. And, 5 of that will be just pure jealousy. Sorry, I got to call it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not,
I've seen it.
It's insane. And women misogynists, woo! And when it all just comes down to looks, because they don't mind the intelligence. They don't mind because, well, we're all, sparking on calls, and they don't even mind the way I speak. But there's something about my presence. When I photographed, when we went to do that live at that Western Sydney Fashion Festival.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, holy cow.
And you had spoken to her before, right?
Yes, and I was looking forward to interviewing her, and not on the phone, we hadn't spoken on the phone, but emails, And it's crazy. So I realized people just sink into their ego, and because I was looking forward to, she was all fine, etc. But as soon as she saw me, it was and she stayed away from me.
Because I didn't know because I thought it was just a lady, but she wasn't the lady that you were supposed to speak to that day. And I just thought she was standoffish because that was not the lady we were looking for.
Wow.
It was so weird. And then when I realized, I was like, holy shit. All right. What did I just see?
Well, you saw it at that Sydney Fiji Day celebration last October.
Wow.
And interestingly, the day that the current retaliation, when I say the current, cycle of retaliation, that has caused the world's eyes to open, and there are people acting like it hasn't been going on for the last 75, 76 years. Anyway, but this is at that Fiji Day celebration, and that stage manager who just blatantly lied to everyone about why I wasn't on stage.
Yeah.
And it's like, mate, we've got it on a live. And when the assistant stage manager said, I don't know what's going on, I want to hear you speak, there's something going on,
Well, I mean, at least she knows the truth, because whatever that lady was saying.
Lady.
Oh, sorry. Am I supposed to say?
Person, just say person. A lot of these people don't even deserve the the identity of woman. I'm sorry. It's a sacred identity, that.
Some women hate women so much they won't even call themselves a woman.
Oh, that's right. They call themselves non-binary. Don't make it out that it's because you cannot identify yourself. It's because you choose not to identify with what woman is supposed to be. But yeah, it's terrible. And I will always say that it's the patriarchy that has contaminated the mind of women, contaminated them so badly, but they already had weaknesses in their DNA. And that is the intergenerational weaknesses, because they were born of people who weren't supposed to be having children and continued all the way back, all the way back. And so all these people who shouldn't have been having children have been having children. And then they have children to people they should never, ever, ever. Everything is sacred. Unity of mind, unity of body, and the unity of egg and sperm. Anyway. So, yes, so when people come and watch me, you know, it's... And look, I'm going to have to... In case you're wondering why I'm coming down hard on women, oh, get over yourselves. We all know males are misogynistic. We all know it's the patriarchy that's the problem. You can't change that, but you've got to change what you can. I changed myself first, and then with that was able to be with someone who had already changed, had done the work on himself. There's nothing else you can do. But I can appeal to others like me, and that is woman. Sorry for the gulp. Women, what are you doing? What are you doing? And there's this terrible... As I was saying, 10 people come here. 9 people will be like, ugh, not for me, because, I don't know, fine. It's not the way I speak. It's not the way it's not what I speak about. Well, it is. It actually is. So, but there will be one person, this has been my entire life, there'll be one person who'll be like fascinated. And these are people on the same wavelengths. I don't want you to be like me. I am the only me. You be you. And I like you for you. As I was saying something about fame, right? About fame, it's really everyone else around you that changes. So I'm talking about Trump, and why I'm talking about Trump is that if the people around him were good people, if they were people who were strong enough to say, excuse me, how about you use your incredible popularity for good? I'm talking about Trump now. Yeah. Because I was talking about people around you change you. And because what Dwayne and I had said, that Trump actually has the power to change things.
Yes, he does. If he realized, my goodness, he could be the savior.
But he's come out with his last win and his speech, which we've now on the style, and I have got the publisher's diary, and I will be sharing links, etc. of stories, because if I don't always have time to do one take news, I have to tell you sometimes doing the news for me is a mood dependent thing, because our primary thing right now, unfortunately, is to make money, to pay our bills. As I said much earlier, we don't get help from anyone. I don't ask for loans. We ask people, well, is there any work we can do for you, and can you do that? I think that is fair, and eventually, the only reason we really push our work is to create platforms for other people. So I'm not always in the mood to do one take news unless you're willing to sponsor it. Because it's about time we get news that actually tells the truth. If I could, I would. What I do with one take news is a roundup of news headlines from other news outlets, and we add the links, etc., etc. It'd be great to have our own news channel where we have news reporters reporting on these things, and then we have our own original news pieces. As it is, I ad-lib or write what it is I want to talk about with the news. It's a lot of work, and these are valuable hours taken away from trying to get work to pay our bills. This transparency, kind of makes me feel ugh, because it just gives more fodder for the vipers to make fun of me. Go ahead. Go right ahead, you slithering, succubuses succubi. What is the term for that? Just leeching off other people. All these particularly women, they're not women, these females of the country of my birth, the city of my birth, these vipers, they love it. don't start me on the number of women who are actually jealous because I found my harmony in my partner and found harmony. So many friends of mine don't bother asking me how I am because, well, they think, well, she's all right. She's got, you know, and they're actually kind of weirdly I don't know. It's weird, but women don't actually want to see other women happy. Actually, maybe women do, because, well, females. Other women, oh, I'm coming down very, very hard. As I said to you, males, yeah, they're a fucking problem. Even my husband, who is a man, knows it. You've said it.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
You said you were a problem, and that's why you worked at it.
Oh, man.
You know, you had to look at yourself. It makes me cry knowing, thinking about how you thought of yourself when I know that you were never that toxic male. The stories you tell me, I raise my eyebrows like, what? That's not it.
It's still that thing, not all men, all men. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. But we have choices. You know, that's the only thing that can save us.
Yeah, men have to change themselves. Women, you know, if a man wants to change for you, if man will change because of love. That is true. Women will change because of trust. What women need is trust, and I think this is what leads women to have children, because they think, well, it's their, you know, the child is coming from their body, so that they trust themselves. And a lot of times, especially women who are older who have children, are definitely better parents, I feel. Definitely. And Dwayne has this theory of genetic memory. And the older you are as a parent, the more you have to give via your DNA. If, of course, if the talk of intergenerational trauma is such a thing that it's passed through DNA, so is wisdom.
Yeah. Skills.
So, gosh, where are we going with it? So I was talking about Trump, right? If the right people were around him, my gosh, the state of America has a chance. Because right now, he comes back into presidential power. The people around him are going to use him, and that is going to become that dystopian state that they all write about, that Handmaid's Tale, that was a book by Margaret Atwood. I didn't watch the series because I'm not a fan of all these things. And of course, it's always a Euro woman who's going to save the day in dystopian constructs. Mate, no, it's going to be black. Black people who were the original people. But, you know, what is, like, so Trump has come up with a speech about, and he's apparently, while everyone was celebrating his win, came up and did a speech of absolute, like, it just, everyone was like, ugh. He was going on and on and on, but if I was still president, and he's just absolutely destroyed the morale of everybody in that room, all news reports are saying. When, you know, after sort of wins, after primary wins or whatever, people are like, yay! He came and gave a speech, and this is what I'm saying on the Publisher's Diary on our magazine, The Style Under. I will have this link there because I don't feel like doing one take news at the moment because, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's what I was saying. So he's just, you know, everyone's just been like, great. He's actually telling truths, but from the bigot's point of view.
Right.
He's saying Israel, this would not be happening in Israel, blah, 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 in Iran. But he's talking about it from the bigot's point of view instead of if he was the guy who was surrounded by people who want him to make real changes, he could have come up there and said, if I was still president, I would never have, you know, let this situation in the Middle East escalate. Yeah. You know, we would help the Palestinians. You know, we would, in things like that. And, you know, we would tell the genociders, stop it. We put you there. I know that was our fault. How can we help you? Can we give you something else? You know, what is this? What was it? No. What is this violence? He could be doing that.
Yeah.
You know, he could be saying, look, you know, I how old is he? 4,000. Oh gosh, he could be saying, I'm old, but I want to leave this planet having done some good things.
Yeah, right.
You want to make America great again? How about you try and make America great? Full stop. For once.
All that power, huh?
All that power.
He can't see what he can do to... You're right, he could save the planet. He could save everything.
So many people listen to him. So many people in the constructs listen to this person. Likewise, that's why they understand, say, someone like Taylor Swift, her power. Because she has sway and she has sway over the constructs, the dominant race, and the people in the constructs who are Euro template.
And the young people.
The young people is who I'm talking about, of all races.
Yeah.
All these people have so much power. They could use it to change things absolutely. These billionaires have so much power. Instead, as I said, the gross domestic product of Fiji is US close to 5 billion. Where's that money? Where's that money? This reliance on tourism, something that was cut. First sign of a virus. This world is really, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is why right now I don't want to do one take news. A part of me just cannot handle the news right now, unless of course you pay me, then I will have a reason to, because right, as I said, we've got to pay our bills. We're freelance creatives. We rely on salaried clients who have side businesses that are creative businesses that require creatives of excellence like us. And because they couldn't pursue or didn't want to pursue or didn't have the opportunity or the courage to pursue, they've had to go and be salaried. Now, a friend of ours had said to us, because they want to be is a bass guitarist. They have a band, but they had to go and do something else, which they get, earn good money from, and they have a family and stuff like that, the traps of it all.
That's right.
And what did this person say? They said it's a cop-out to go and get to go and actually get a salaried thing. It's a cop-out. He knows it's a cop-out.
Yeah. He said if he could, he would just play bass all day.
Because what that actually means is, if I could, I wouldn't have a family. I wouldn't have this responsibility.
Yeah.
So many people should have been making these decisions.
But we're sold this idea of life, what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So what is it that gets us? Guilt?
We're told, okay, so for starters, yes, we know that life is a gift, but it's not. It's not the gift that our present day, is making us. But we get guilted because we get told that this life is somebody else's. It's not ours to determine. Then whose is it?
Yeah.
And what's it to anyone if no one wants to live it? Something else that we were talking about. Okay, because of this, are you living a life that makes you happy your mother didn't abort you? Are you living a life that makes you glad that your mother had you?
Yep, I don't think anyone's ready for that question.
Well, get ready. It's coming at you. Should I put a trigger warning where before? Oh, well. I better get this. So around 30, 32, I'll just put a trigger warning there. Questions going to be asked here. 32. But it's, everyone feels like they deserve, and I guess I sound like, do I sound like that?
Sure.
But like I have said, it's okay. I'm not average. I have privileges. And I think it is stupid that we are all struggling. I think it is ridiculous that I am traumatized. Well, I'm not, but I have had trauma. And I gotta tell you, it doesn't matter. You can heal you can just heal. But the thing about trauma, it doesn't go away because that's masking, that's oblivion. It's going to stay there, and then it's up to you. It's how strong your healing is that you look at it and go, whew, that was heavy. Glad I'm me today. That's how healing works. Healing makes you look at all the trauma you suffered and go, oh, got through that. Oh my gosh, I'm good right now, right here, right now. But I'm privileged. I was given privileges, and I've always known that, to help others, to be a spotlight, to be a lighthouse, particularly as a brown woman, as an Indo-Fijian woman. I know that I was given my privileges to be a lighthouse. Look at me. Look at what I can do. And then be the spotlight for others. Look at me. Look at what I can do. Look at what you can do. And, spotlight for others, platform for others. This is what you and I do. We create platforms for others. And right now, my friends, these platforms are platforms we cannot actually populate with people because life isn't making it easy for full-time freelance creatives. And I should say that most of my working life, majority of my working life, from the moment I started working at 18, and I was very lucky. At 18, I was able to work. My first job was my first love, radio. And I was able to I loved it. And then after that, and we'll talk about this more in depth coming up. And then fashion. And for me, it was really important because I had first gone on to radio at 12. And I was so like, oh my gosh, this is such a responsibility because I was student council representative. And it was just a big deal to be on radio. The grown-ups are giving, us time on radio. And I was really like, okay, what am I going to say? I've got to talk about what's happening to the people, what are the concerns of young people today? Because that's what it was all about. And so I loved it. And I knew that that's what I would, you can't see the person, but so you're listening. This is why when I'm talking with people, I love to leave voice messages, and I love receiving voice messages from people because it's all concentration on what they're saying. Because when you're having a conversation, sometimes, because it is a real art to being a listener, active listeners like you, my darling, are very difficult to come about because everybody wants to talk, wants to give their opinion. Opinions are not objective, they're always subjective. It's very difficult to have people who genuinely listen in a conversation. So I love listening to voice messages because I can focus on what that person is saying and then listen to it again to formulate what my responses will be to that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right. So the first time is just listening purely to what they're saying, giving all your energy to what that person is saying. I love it. And then, listening again. So that's why I loved radio, like the responsibility of saying something that people are listening to. And you've got to tell the truth and fact, and I loved it. So I have been very, very lucky. And then from radio, went into modeling, into singing, into television, in between, writing constantly. Now, all of these opportunities did come from privilege. You must understand that. And it's not just privilege of material, not just material privilege. By the time I was 18, I was not materially privileged, as in I was not, because I had defied my father. My father just he cut me off, and I'm like, meh, big deal. I didn't let that stop me. But prior to that, yes, born into an extremely wealthy and traumatizing family structure. Don't begrudge me that wealth. I don't know, wealth, begrudge me, whatever you want. Because when I first got my spine fractured at 12, when I came to, I did think, holy cow, there are young people, there are girls, women, children, all over who aren't in the mansions, who aren't lying on a luxurious bed, being able to hide what's happened to them. There are people who are in villages, are in poorer places, on floors. And so that's where I knew that, my empathy is, I didn't sit there and go, oh gosh, my empathy is great now. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. Until I reached 51, and they were like, oh my God. Shit, anyway.
Well, I mean, just imagine people are going through that right now,
Yeah.
Still, and that's what I thought.
People are still...
Because you look at your younger self as, that poor girl.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh gosh, yes. I look at the little girl self of me at any age and just go, well done. Well done. Mwah. Hug yourself. Just hug yourself. Fuck forgiving yourself. It's not got to do with forgiving. Just hug your younger self. And think of where you are right now and just go, wow. You strong, strong, strong person. Anyway. So as I was saying, I have been fortunate enough to have made a career out of my talents. And you, darling, you forged a career out and refused to. This is why I say to you, I am in awe, because you were unfortunately stuck in Fiji at a time. And I shouldn't say stuck in Fiji, but that's how it feels for people who don't get the opportunities. If you have the opportunities in Fiji, you're not stuck. All of a sudden, you have all the, you just have... when you have opportunities which come from privilege, when you have privilege in a small pond, you have opportunities galore. It is very difficult to be someone without the opportunities. Even if you are someone of, you'd say you have had privileges. You've been, you've lived overseas and educated overseas, and et cetera, and part of a society that acknowledges your, skill set, et cetera, but they still leech off it. All these rich people in Fiji asking all these people to just do the care. Just can you give a discount, or can you do it for free, while I check into business class and travel all over the world and drop money at Gucci all over the place.
Just gonna pay off my new 4-wheel drive.
By the way, the richer someone is, the more discounts they get, the more famous they are too. And I know this. It happened to me. As I was saying, so yes, you made a choice to not toe the line. You saw what was happening. You saw how people got trapped, by what it is that is required for the society, for the capitalist constructs. So yes, I was able to have majority of my life, still do, have been able to work using my talents and gain from that. And then of course the privileges along the way are because of the environment you're in. So, if you're a good looking woman, sad to say, there's opportunities that come there, and unfortunately too many women use it as womb rental, and so the opportunities they get from whatever, they just get it to have children, secure their future, get money. Harsh, huh? Ooh, this is really coming down hard on women today. As I said earlier, and continue to say so, the patriarchy, it's there. We know where it all started. We know. And we can't change that. We can only change ourselves, one person at a time. And as a woman, I can only talk to other women like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Wake up. Wake up. Anyway, as I was saying, I can't always do one take news because, it would be consistent if I guess, if I could afford to spend the time that I want to spend the time doing the news to get the news to you, real news, because so much of what we're getting are, they're lies. It's lies. It's propaganda, and you don't really know who to believe. So you've got to trust in people who are able to see all things, because there's a couple of other things going on here. Who are we siding with? Are we siding with humanity, or are we siding with what? When I was 19, and how old am I now? So this is 34 years ago. When I first learned of it's not a conflict, of the colonization and ongoing, subtle at that time, genocide that was happening in the Middle East by the ex-European refugees. When I first found out what it was all about, because I'd seen a really cool guy wearing a keffiyeh, and I wanted to wear one myself but because I've always been interested in the origins of style and fashion. By the way, workshop coming up. I found out what it meant, the keffiyeh, and then I went, oh no, this is terrible what's happening, but I saw it as a religious war. And I didn't want to be part of a religious war. I am on the side of humanity. But I'm worried now oh look, I don't want to get into that right now. I don't know. But women and allies, where are you, allies? We all come from woman. Where are you? Where are you? Where are our allies? Where are the women allies? Why are women betraying themselves by... Anyway, look, you know what? I'm going to say something really shitty here. Sometimes it really, really just comes down to what the woman looks like. As shitty as that is. As shitty as that is. I have no other explanation for the behavior of some females other than the fact that they're just not at all happy within themselves, but everyone has changed the environment to match what unhappiness is in the air. So what unhappiness is trending right now, everyone changed the environment to match it. People aren't unhappy with the way they look, with the way they identify. Change the environment to match it instead of looking inside and changing yourself. So we have all these people policing that, who are saying, no, it has to be that way. Great. As I said, as a Gen Xer, I do believe that older generations do need to be, we need to not follow, not adapt even. Not even adopt, but just respect this generation's ways. Because this generation, whatever generation is going through whatever they're going through, it is the result of the generations that came before them. So the older generations have no real right to look at people and go, ugh, what are you doing? Even though as a Gen Xer, I do look at people and go, what are you doing? That's not a crying problem. That's not a crying problem. However, as a collective, I look at this generation, I think, my God, how are you all still standing? All these young people who, imagine the people who went from COVID to...
Yeah.
All these young people who have not been allowed to be young. Oh my God. I weep for you. You've had to find some sort of the joy of youth, that electricity that we are all born with. That young people should be allowed to enjoy with freedom, go out there with full ego and go, what, I'm ready, what's here? Whew. Oh gosh. And, you know, it's in a world that, yes, we do have same-sex marriages, we do have respect for how people wish to identify, it's still not prevalent. Maybe in Euro constructs and, you know, in perhaps in Euro construct templates like, say, Fiji, right? But it's still difficult. It's still difficult for, you know, gay people, for non-binary, for trans people. Trans people get trotted out during fashion parades. I don't know, are they still trending? Just to have some sort of optics of diversity. I don't know. Look, I continue to ask these things, but anyway, look, you know, this is what we do. I guess we're ready to wind down. So this is a bit of an everything. Again, as per usual, I always plan to have certain topics I'm going to talk about. So I will actually ask people. I might have to do some, you know, appearances on Instagram. Like, are there any questions you wish to ask? Is there anything you want to ask of me? Not just personal, please, but anything about generally. Because there's all these things. Like I've written here, cosmetic surgery is misogyny. Not plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is done to give. Plastic surgeons started by giving people hope, you know. So plastic surgery is about burn victims and deformed stuff like that. And from that came cosmetic surgery because people started realizing, hey, we could do this for, you know. But I think that actually now what is happening is that it's misogyny. And women to each other are doing this. So I've got a whole heap of topics here, like including Kate Middleton. What do you think's happening? This is crazy. I don't really talk much about the British royal family because it's all just, look, they're just the royal family of England. Please, please, people lining up on the streets just to be inspected like Commonwealth property to your rulers. Excuse me? I have shared this story many times before, that in my family home in Fiji, in Suva, which is still there, on Zakamba Road, prior to all the buildings built on front of it, we had an uninterrupted view of the main park, where Hibiscus Festival used to be, etc., Albert Park, and through to Grand Pacific. And we could, from our balcony, see what was happening at Grand Pacific. So when Elizabeth and Philip had made a trip to inspect their property in Fiji, even though Fiji was no longer part of, you know, they were independent. Although I think they were still Commonwealth country. Yes, it didn't become a republic until the coups. So 1970 was just making it an independent. And isn't it funny how independence is celebrated, and from whom? You know, the majority of the countries that celebrate their Independence Day is from England. And also, there is only one country that actually celebrates its invasion. Anyway, let me go back to Elizabeth and Philip. And they're standing on the balcony waving, my husband and I, or whatever. And I and my brother, we went up onto our roof with binoculars and looking down at them like, is that them? Well, they're not much, are they? And I was 11, 12, and I honestly did not understand what the big deal was. It was just human beings. Why is everyone like, oh, my queen, my... What? What's she personally doing for you? But anyway, my friends, look, this is what we're all about here. It's time for the Daily Egg. For, what day is it? Thursday, March the 6th, 2024. Thank you very much for being here with us, regardless of when you're watching. Have a good day. Thank you. And I know I say a lot, but I'm not going to stop. We need to unpack the fuckery within ourselves. And we can only heal ourselves. Things I say hurt. Oh my God, they hurt me. And they're probably not all right. I don't know. they just seem fairly factual and simple. That's us.
What's that?
See you tomorrow on the Daily 8. Bye.